If you really want to know the most Hendrixy ones, hi, I'm Eric Haugen. I have a YouTube channel. I've made my name with like a little Hendrix double stop etude. The algorithm grabbed it and it's made my career. Thank you, algorithm. But okay, let's check it out. G shape. So let's look at the next version up of C. Okay, the E shape, and this is, like I said earlier in this series, this is where two of the most classic ones live. Right there. So for the rest of your life, anytime you grab this regular old bar chord that you've done before, you know this chord. You can always do that if you want that sound. A shape. Definitely you'll hear him do. But again, that's flat A to a diagonal. For the rest of your life, anytime you play that chord, you could do. So let's take those four of the most Hendrixy ideas and let me put them into a little solo in B flat though. Let's see what happens.
So one of the things I like to do in my rhythm parts is actually kind of create my own melody and my own space within the track. So for example, if I'm going between A major and B minor, rather than just go, there's all these different little inversions that can help create melodic space in the track. So for example, then I'm just kind of taking these double stops, which is really just going up the major scale and back, but I can use that to create fun rhythm parts. Yeah, another example of how I might use this is just using the B and the E string along with kind of a major or dominant groove to create a little more excitement in a rhythm part. So this is, I'm just in A dominant here. Which is kind of another fun way to still work within that A dominant world, but change your melody around.
So now we're in the section on double stop fourths. Now we don't have major and minor. Fourths are determined as being perfect fourths. The other thing to consider here is if you invert a fourth, you get a fifth. So this section is also talking about fifths. So I want you to think of fourths being one inversion, and if you invert that, you get fifths. So you've got a very similar sound, which is hard to determine between the two. So when I say fourths, we're talking about fifths as well, because they're inverted that way, all right? Now, I'm going to be looking more at fourths being in position on the fretboard as opposed to a linear fashion. And the reason I'm doing that is fourths tend to have a sound of, like an oriental sound if you play them in a linear fashion, Whereas if you play them across the fingerboard, it has more of an R&B feel, and it's more what we're used to hearing when we hear Hendrix play those fourth double stop lines, etc., and those R&B flavored lines. So I'm going to be looking at across the fingerboard, but in different chunks that actually go across the fretboard as opposed to along the fretboard. All right. Not that we can't move positions, but I think it's fair to say that you're probably going to be playing more in position or a box, if you like. And I've actually delineated that in my diagrams to you guys. I've shown you where the fourths lie along the fingerboard, but I think it's more applicable to show it in position. So I'm going to play a performance for you. I'm going to break that down into the articulation, vibrato, and phrasing, and then you'll be able to jam over the track yourself.
That's all for this session. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell for more lessons in the future. Make sure you check out the other lessons on our channel, and don't forget to head over to TrueFire.com for the full experience. We have synchronized tabs, jam tracks, and a massive library of courses covering all topics a guitarist could ever want to learn. Until next time.